Stay in touch with our community. It's Church Connection.
Sadly, this past summer, Pastor Doug Ross passed away. The Lighthouse Pentecostal Church in Haliburton has a new lead pastor, Sandy Stevens. Good morning, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you. How are you?
I would like you to kind of just catch us up because you were Doug's assistant pastor.
Yeah.
And so you're familiar with the church. You were familiar with Pastor Doug. How has the transition been stepping into Doug's shoes?
It's funny you should say Doug's shoes because it was a kind of a bittersweet time because we do know where Doug is, and he certainly loved the Lord with all his heart, and he had a joy and a real spirit of evangelism, and he just loved sharing Jesus' love with everybody he met. But the shoe part, I decided to wear his shoes when I did his eulogy down at a church in Oshawa when we said goodbye, and I wore them up on the platform, so it's kind of funny that you would say his shoes. And after I finished my message, I took them off because, we can't fill someone else's shoes ever. God calls us uniquely and individually to the work that he has before us and the people that he has before us and the circles of influence around us. And we have to wear our own giftings, and we have to wear our own personality, and God made us so uniquely to minister to people around us. And so I had to step into my own shoes.
I love it. I love it.
And, that's been a process over the past few months, but a real joy to continue on. Certainly lots of seeds were planted from Doug's ministry across the province in many towns, Barrie as well as Oshawa area, Durham, even out east as well. So, yeah, just a real blessing to have been a part of his ministry and encouraged by him.
Not only do you have to mend the loss of a pastor or a church, a congregation, but you're also stepping into that role during COVID-19. How has that been for you?
That's been challenging. I mean, I'm so glad that I'm familiar with my hometown and the people that I'm with. So I've really been focusing on relationships. And that's what we need in the middle of COVID, right? We need to know that people are caring for us and love us, and even if we can't see them, and finding creative ways to communicate that to people is so important. I love doing phone calls and having conversation with people the most and praying with people. So that's really been my focus. Rebuilding too, the church. I mean, that's a devastating loss to have your senior pastor suddenly be taken. And, we have to do some grieving, and the family is certainly still doing that. And we have our moments as well. But we're excited about what God is going to lead us to next. And I'm sitting actually right now in John chapter 15 about the vine and the branches. And I just am reminded about how essential it is that we are connected to Christ himself. And for lots of us, the Lord can and has been using COVID to do some pruning. I'm not necessarily saying that all the bad things are discipline or pruning, but that it can be used to cause us to pause, and reevaluate things. Yeah. And so that's kind of what we're doing at church. That's what I'm doing here at home as I sit myself and pray over my congregation. I want to be connected to him, and I want my congregants to be connected to him. I want them to be pruned and ready and well connected for the fruitfulness that God intends to bring as we continue to move forward. And there is fruit being produced now, even in the middle of COVID.
Pastor Sandy, if people would like more information about the Lighthouse Pentecostal Church in Haliburton, how can they get it?
The best way to do it is probably to connect with our website. www.lighthousehaliburton.com is probably the best place to connect with us. And we're also on Facebook, and we are at facebook.com/Lighthouse Haliburton as well.
Fantastic. I look forward to having more conversations to see how you're filling out your own shoes. We've been on the phone with Pastor Sandy Stevens of the Lighthouse Pentecostal Church in Haliburton. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Stay in